The church is promoting what it calls sustainable tourism, saying the industry might be good for the environment and society. In a message released today ahead of World Tourism Day in September, Cardinal Peter Turkson says, quote, "We Christians want to offer our contribution so that tourism can assist in the development of peoples, especially the most disadvantaged." Joining us now from Rome is Sister Emanuela Edwards of the Missionaries of Divine Revelation, originally from England. Her congregation are the official tour guides in the Vatican museums and St. Peter's Basilica. So, Sister Emanuela, you deal with thousands of tourists every year. What is the connection between tourism and the faith? In other words, is there a Catholic approach to tourism?
I think in terms of the Catholic approach to tourism, it's about our time of recreation is a time for rebuilding ourselves, a time for allowing the spirit to rise up a little bit more than perhaps it can in our everyday life. And so tourism, when we take a vacation, it gives us the chance to have some space to think about our lives in a more fuller aspect, to actually also perhaps to consider God as well, because as we look at these wonderful places, when people come away into far off places, they're able to also enjoy the wonders that God has created, and that can often be a way of raising the mind to God as well.
The Vatican says tourism is a tool for growth and the fight against poverty. How so?
I think the greatest poverty of our time, as Mother Teresa very often said, is that spiritual poverty. And so I think from what I see in Rome, when people come to Rome, some come who are a little bit curious, some come in a search to say, is it real, is it true? And others come, looking for a profound meeting with the Lord. And I think in some ways the fight against poverty is that by encountering the Lord in these wonderful places that they see in Rome, they're able to somehow hear the call of the Spirit, even those who perhaps aren't looking for it, by seeing the wonderful basilicas or the great experience of the Sistine Chapel. It raises the mind to God, and it perhaps puts the question, that God does exist, and it also encourages them to ask the question about God too.
Well, as you mentioned, so many pilgrims come to Rome and the Vatican and have those powerful experiences. What do you see in your tours, and how does that help you grow in your own faith?
I think when we do the tours of art and faith in the Vatican, it's very often to see people who become emotional, people who perhaps are far away from the faith, and it acts as an awakening for them to start to become closer to the Lord and want to carry on that journey when they return home. Certainly myself, I've been so touched many times when pilgrims have wrote to me and they've told me of their experience just by coming on a tour, what they've seen in the Sistine and what they've experienced. And indeed there have been those who've discovered the vocation, and for difficult moments in their life, a man wrote to me once to say that the tour he'd been on had prepared him for his death. And so these moments can be very, very profound in a person's life.
Amazing how such a simple thing as tourism can be a way to spread the gospel. Sister Emanuela Edwards, a sister of the Missionaries of Divine Revelation, thanks so much for talking with us.
Thank you, it was a great pleasure.